Welcome to Knights of Roleplay and Adventuring Podcast. This is an actual play Dungeons & Dragons podcast. Royalty-free music provided by Kevin MacLeod, Michael Gelfie Studios, Plate Mail Games, and Tabletop Audio. And now, to adventure. Hello and welcome. My name is Chris Buckner. I'm the primary Dungeon Master for Knights of Roleplay and Adventuring Podcast. Before we get into John's Tomb of Annihilation campaign, the first episode of which will be Session 0, where John sets the campaign expectations and whatnot, we are publishing this episode, which is a special cross-promotion episode that we did with DM Jeremy from Old Man Rolling Dice. We did a cross-promotion with Old Man Rolling Dice back in March of 2021, which was episode number 53, Roundtable, Favorite Campaign Settings. So DM Jeremy reached out to do this show on Twitch called Prep or Die, which is on Goodman Games' official Twitch channel. They are the creators of Dungeon Crawl Classics. And so the idea behind Prep or Die is that they get 3 Dungeon Masters and they show them some images and they have 30 minutes to write a one-shot adventure. And then they kind of have the DMs describe the one-shots. And DM Jeremy was joined by his friend Affy, who was on the Twitch stream as well. And so just before the Twitch stream started, they gave me and Kate and Sarah from Knights of Roleplay the 5 images. And then we started the Twitch stream and, we did introductions, and then they basically put us all on mute while we started writing our one-shots. And DM Jeremy and Affy, they showed the images and talked a little bit about the images and then kind of checked in with us once in a while to see how we were doing with the adventure. And then once that half an hour had gone by, we basically read our one-shots. So I'm putting an image on Podbean that has all 5 of the images. And that image is going to be published with this episode. You can also find those images on our social media pages right now. If you don't have access to those images right now as you're listening to this, I'm going to describe the images to you that we were shown, that we used to write our one-shots in 30 minutes. The first image looks to be a painting that shows a coastline and a raised area of land that has these 3 huge swords with their points sticking down into the ground. These swords probably go up maybe like 200 or 300 feet. And in the middle of these swords, way down at the bottom, you can kind of see a person with their arms raised, standing in front of what looks like a white column of smoke maybe. It could be a geyser, it could be maybe a campfire. But maybe this person is doing some sort of a ritual to these 3 huge swords. So that's the first image. The second image is a black and white line drawing of what looks to be a human male wearing these like flowing robes. There's an arch behind this person that comes right up to the top of the person's head. They have one hand on a column and the other hand is resting on a very large either staff or maybe like a mace. It gets much bigger as you go down towards the bottom. The third image is a black and white line drawing of a crown. And where like the jewels might be around the top, it has like these little spheres. And the fourth image is a very detailed black and white line drawing of a cloaked figure with a skeletal face. And behind them is some kind of a bird that has like a harness on it that looks like it can be used as a mount. And the fifth image is a painting of an airship. So again, real quick, we have these 3 huge swords with their tips in the ground and a person down at the bottom. We have a figure wearing robes with a long staff or maybe a mace. We have a crown. We have a skeletal robed figure with a bird mount. And we have an airship. So we hope that you enjoy this special episode.
Welcome to Old Man Rolling Dice's Prep or Die here on Goodman Games Official.
Hello.
Who else? Oh, by the way, we have an entire roster from the podcast Knights of Roleplay, which go back to like I think season 1 of Oldman Rolling Dice. We talked to Chris on Oldman on our podcast.
Yeah, we did a cross
So,
promotion. Yep.
yeah, so we were like we need to revisit that again. So that's how we found these wonderful people. Hi Artemis in chat, and tonight we've got another 5 pictures. They're not as zany and crazy as last week's like laser frogs. They are. I'm not going to say they're grounded though. That would be wrong.
That's an inside joke for when you guys see the pictures.
Yeah, when you see the picture. And it's also kind of an inside joke for Knights of Roleplay. Let's get right into what Knights of Roleplay is. Who wants to go first to talk about your guys' project and what you guys do? You might get to hear Chris and Kate's daughter.
Correct.
Which is the 4th DM tonight. We've rarely had 4 DMs on the show, but tonight we'll be entertained. So, who wants to go first and tell us about Knights of Roleplay?
I'll start with that.
Okay.
So Knights of Roleplay is my podcast that I started with Kate and Sarah and a bunch of our other friends, John and Greg. I've been playing for 35 years, and we started playing with this group in 2015,
Nice.
I believe it was. And at some point I started to do some voiceover stuff, and some of the classes I took were podcasting. And I thought, ooh, maybe I should record our sessions and put them out as a podcast. So basically I decided to do Spelljammer, and that was going to be our first podcast campaign. And that's basically how everything got started. So that's what we're all about.
Be grounded, Spelljammer, not grounded. Yeah, that's where I was going. One of my favorite things about the podcast, Chris, is that you guys do Spelljammer, and you mix it with a whole bunch of other stuff. Like I know you've done Curse of Strahd or some Ravenloft stuff with Spelljammer.
Correct. Yeah, I did Ravenloft, Dark Sun, Ravenloft, Spelljammer were like 3 of my favorites. So I mixed some Ravenloft into like 2 or 3 of the adventures. And right now, Strahd is, for anybody, spoiler alert, if you want to listen to the podcast, Strahd is on the Rock of Brawl right now, and he's living there, which is kind of like
living there.
Oh my!
He's living on the rock. He has his own little place, and the party is like, should we do something about that?
He's managed to escape the domain of dread. I like this.
Yeah.
Or maybe the rock has become a domain. That would be good too.
There was I think it's called a convergence. I think is what it was called.
Yes,
yeah, you got it.
And that's basically how that happened.
So Affy is a big Ravenloft fan too.
I love Ravenloft.
So are convergences talked about in 5th edition? I know they were part of the 2nd edition Ravenloft box set where they talk about how the domains occasionally slip over top of
yeah. I vaguely remember reading something.
I think it was 5th edition.
No, but I think there's something in the DMG or something that talks about planes sometimes intersecting. I mean, it was if I'm remembering it correctly, it was like a very vague reference, and that was about it.
Cool. Van Richten's guide, the guide that just came out, it does have some plane overlap, but it's mainly specific domains that travel. So like the carnival, there's a train that, like a light train that goes around the domains, but not actual convergence, not anything that I've seen anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then it's a great tip of the hat to 2nd edition.
Absolutely. Definitely not stealing that.
No, go ahead. Kate, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? I know that you're on the podcast, and I'm assuming that's where most of your work goes towards, but if you want to tell us sort of how you got involved in D&D, or tell us whatever you like. Who is Kate?
Who is Kate?
Oh, Kate. So Kate is born and raised in New Hampshire. Kate has been friends with Sarah since 8th grade.
Oh my!
Oh, wow.
And I went to college ROTC, did the Navy thing for 8 years after school. Got lucky and managed to move back home after that. So lots of travels in the middle. And then a couple years after I moved home back in 2012. This Chris Buckner guy did something real subtle and told one of my friends that he was interested in asking me out because he knew the friend would tell me right away.
Super subtle. Which friend, I wonder?
Was it Jazzy?
No, although she has history with him for longer than I do too. But so she'll probably talk about that. But needless to say, he asked me out. We started going out, I think, back in like 2014, and the rest is history. And soon after he and I started dating, a group of our friends, he'd been talking up all the D&D that he was playing with other friends and how he really wanted to DM and run his own game. So he got a group of us interested, and that was basically my first foray into D&D after like watching my brother and like other friends in college and stuff who had been playing it for years. I had never actually done it. So
okay, I have two questions that come out of this.
Sure.
Was Chris in the Navy?
No.
What's wrong with you?
Jeremy, have you ever been in the Navy?
No.
Then shut your
but I come from a long line of Navy men.
Okay.
That's legit.
Okay.
I'll send you pictures later of my grandfather.
Okay.
You guys are up in Canada, right? Like,
yeah.
Is there a Navy in Canada?
There's 3 rowboats, a kayak, and then like a life
You've got
raft.
this little paddle boat that goes out there in the water, eh? And
some of them are they're like the swan things, the swan paddle boats that you go on for like romantic dates.
The swan boat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've actually been to the Navy base in Esquimalt because my first ship was home ported in the Puget Sound in Everett, Washington. So I have toured a Canadian Navy ship and seen the differences between what they do and us, and it was pretty cool.
I was going to say some horrible things about the Canadian Navy and sort of imply that like when the American Navy engages in operations, our ships bring you beer afterwards. That's what we do.
You guys do have beer on your ships,
but
yeah,
legit. That's actually a thing for the Rock up north. We fight over it with Denmark. And Denmark Navy will come in and put their flag up.
Denmark has a Navy?
Yeah. It's probably like...
I'm learning all sorts of things tonight.
It's probably like a rowboat and a kayak and like a Viking cruise ship. So
if I was on my old channel, I would let off a rant about Denmark, but I'm gonna hold that.
But anyway, there's this rock that we fight over.
I had a second question.
What was your second question?
Oh,
Sorry, I derailed you.
What's the cat's name?
Okay, I know. Cat's name.
So this is Bugatti, and Bugatti was my first kitty of my own. I adopted him in Japan when I was still in the Navy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bugattis are expensive. How expensive is that cat?
Well, you have to get like all the
he was the fair
chunk.
Yeah, the flight home was
He's
a chunk
worth
of
every
change.
cent of love.
He's pretty great, but yeah, I totally.
Legit.
Yeah, I wrote that off on my taxes that year because the Navy did not pay for all that.
What a sweetheart!
He does make vocal appearances on our podcast from time to time as well.
Yeah, he's vocal. He's a chatty dude.
Affy has multiple cats.
I do.
Yay!
If Affy wasn't married, she would be like the cat lady.
Yeah. I already have 4, so we're getting.
I know what I was gonna. Jazzy, we're going to get to you in a second, but I know what I was going to say. I was going to say, how awesome is it to game with a husband? Because I really like gaming with my wife. We don't get an opportunity to do it a lot because 3 kids and we're old. But do you like gaming with your husband?
I do. Yeah. I mean, I won't say we certainly probably have our quirks that I think on occasion grate on each other, but overall, I think it's awesome. I enjoy it a lot. Oh, baby!
Look at the big smile.
Baby's first street
Hi, baby.
Okay, Jazzy, we're to you now.
Hey,
who are you? Tell us what Jazzy's all about. And did you get your hair done specifically for this today?
I did not.
I saw you on Instagram showing off the new do.
So my hair gets worked on about every 6 weeks, and the color changes quite frequently. It's usually a different color every 6 weeks.
Worked on. You make it sound like a car. That's what worked on it.
I have a girl. You know.
I know people.
I was looking back on photos, and this month last year was when I went from my natural color to platinum blonde, and the rest is history. So
I will always think of the 80s when I hear the word platinum blonde.
Oh yeah.
Platinum blonde together. I'm 80s. Yeah. That's excellent.
I had been really, really dark purple and blue for quite a bit with some oranges and pinks thrown in there. So my hairdresser and I decided to go a little lighter for summer, which is why it's now, we kind of went in the direction that the color lift took us. So
okay.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
That's okay. And we just before we came on stream, we learned that you've been doing some DMing with a certain candle book.
Yes. I have been running some Candlekeep mysteries in between sessions with our primary DM, which are the podcast that's currently coming out. So those are being put in the stores for later.
Yeah. So have you guys gotten through the first adventure?
We're almost done with our first book out of the Candlekeep mystery.
Okay, I was gonna ask you about a certain encounter in that first adventure, but I won't now because I'm worried that I'll ruin it for if people
I'm not actually
it.
taking them through it in order. So I'm kind of jumping around a bit. I'm going to be adjusting some of the pre-writes.
Well, I'm not going to say anything then. I'm just going to wish you luck.
We started with the level 7 encounters, if that helps.
Oh, wow.
Anybody.
Did you start with level 7 characters?
Yes.
Okay.
So the party started as an established adventuring party, which was really fun because it allowed our group, which knows each other very well, because since I joined the group back before we were a podcast, which was in the Curse of Strahd campaign, we've been playing together ever since then. So that's 4 years we've all been together as one unit. So being able to already be an established traveling party was definitely a good way to, as a first time DM, have my role players already be super comfortable together, which helps me.
I read a really cool article about starting parties at 11th level rather than first, and don't do the first 10 levels, just go 11 to 20. And it was a pretty solid article. I think it raised a lot of good points. And two, if any of our listeners or watchers have not checked out Nights of Roleplay before, I think you mentioning all the friends at the table, I think that comes through on the podcast, that you guys you're not just like, hey, we're here to play D&D. There's definitely the bonds of friendship can be felt for sure. So we have given our Knights of Roleplay their pictures for tonight. We are using Zoom tonight instead of Discord, so we're not able to actually put them in cones of silence. So we are going to mute them, and they might turn us down if they don't want to listen to Affy and I yak in their ear.
We do yak quite a bit. There's often tangents.
But it is a little different than normal, where we just put them into total silence. And yeah. So, are you guys ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
I want to see Kate and Jazzy destroy Chris in this one shot building.
I think the baby.
I think that was the idea that the girls team up on the well-seasoned pro here. You know,
it would appear that Chris may have given himself a handicap.
Maybe.
The door is open. She could be out here too. I'm surprised.
No, she closed the door. She closed the door tight.
She wanted to be with Daddy. I don't know what to tell you.
She's like, definitely all right, Dad, let's do this. Daddy's girl.
Big time daddy's girl.
All right, mute him, Jer.
Okay, mute him. Oh, I have to do the muting tonight.
Yeah, it's not me.
Okay, sorry everybody. No offense, but I'm muting you. Go ahead.
Full offense.
And adjust your volume if you don't want to listen to us. We will unmute you when we need you. Okay. We've done it.
All right.
Are you ready to look at some pictures?
Heck yeah, I am. All right, so our first image is a trio of swords, but the closer you look at it, the more you look at it, you see a geyser or something. A dude kind of like...
praising the swords?
I was going to say raising the roof, but sure, we can do that.
I like raising the roof. I like that he's just sitting there going, woo, 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 woo.
Yeah, totally. That's exactly what's happening. And yeah, it's those are some big swords. Big swords.
I just like the scope. I like the scope of this image. Yeah. It's like at first you're like, oh, 3 swords stuck in the ground. Then you're like, oh, wait a minute. These are These swords mean business.
They're big. They big.
Yeah. And that's more than giant big. That's like Titan.
That's like God level large. Mm-hmm. And I'm here for it.
I really liked it. I feel like that picture just brings out all kinds of questions like, huh? And why? And where?
And what?
So this image is simply called Swords, and it's by Alexander Komarov, we believe. We had to do a little bit, try to do some digging. We didn't get any more information on this image other than that. I like that you can see that there's a coastline. That's maybe a geyser or a campfire or something.
Yeah, it could be like a smoke signal kind of thing, maybe. Zooming in, it does look more like a campfire.
It does.
But I feel like
I think you could do anything with that, right?
Yeah, it could be like the reverse spotlights or a spotlight. It could be a geyser. It could be...
How awesome. I mean, I would love this to be sort of like a holy place for maybe a god of the forge. Like,
yeah, that'd be pretty
cool. For those that have watched our Sunday game, this would be a perfect holy site for Papa Thorgrim, the cleric of Moradin. Like, these are massive blades. Maybe you could forge something here or bless something here. I mean, there's a coastline to even put it more into sort of perspective of size, and it's just I think there's a lot you could do with this.
It's pretty awesome.
Hold on a sec. Artemis is saying, I have a city in my world that is held in the arms of a dead primordial titan. And obviously then he lost his 3 daggers here. These aren't swords at all. Oh, imagine that. You should even take that. They're not even swords. They're daggers.
Oh, man.
They're even bigger. Yeah, no, I like that. I like this image. And I feel like there's a story to be told here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I dig it.
And hopefully our 3 DMs will be able to tell us that story.
Quick, look at them and see what they're doing.
There's always art that I find that, like, maybe there's a big skeleton lying in the side of a hill, and the scale is just crazy. Like, I don't even know that Dungeons and Dragons can really do that kind of a scale justice.
I don't think so. Like, I know on Critical Role at one point they had a Titan, and the way that Matt handled it was amazing, because it was more like a conveyance as opposed to, it was like a war machine. Mm-hmm. And he had like it stat blocked and everything. It was really, really cool. But going back to this picture, if you look at it, it almost looks like it's in a body.
Like, I see that.
Like the head is up at the top, and
yes, I didn't even notice that before.
Yeah.
And these 3 blades are embedded in its chest.
Yeah.
What if it's a dead god?
That would be cool. Oh.
And if the swords are ever removed, the god comes back to life.
Yeah. And the geyser, maybe the geyser's like at a heartbeat or like a slow breath.
Artemis, write the one shot. It's a god, and if the swords come out, it comes back to life, and we'll make you run it.
Yeah, like a stake.
Artemis is trying to convince me to run a one shot today.
And how did that go?
I have time.
Oh yeah.
I would love to do a one shot with Artemis, but it's finding time.
We've got tons of time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Speaking of time, moving along.
Let's do the next one.
The next one, this one made me laugh when she sent it to me. Just because it's like the posture of this like troll or orc or whatever is just, it's like a come hither.
I love that you think it's a troll or an orc.
It's the fangs, I think. The sort of fangs that are in the face and the size of the club. That's sort of the vibe I got. But it's just the look of it just makes me
I like that it's basically wearing a toga.
Yeah.
And that it's leaning against the wall and it's like, well, hello there.
Hi there. Do you like my horn? Like, it's just so...
How big is my club? Like, it's just massive there.
And like, you have the doorway in the back there, and it's hard to gather scale, but if you're thinking like that, the pillar and the doorway This thing is a giant.
Keep going down that.
Oh.
What kind of giant could this be?
A really ugly one that, just wants some company.
Okay. There are a couple things that I'm just going to point out about this picture.
Okay.
And maybe it'll give it away, but down in the bottom right corner we have the artist's initials, DAT, which I'm not sure what the A stands for, but David and Trampier. So this is from the artist who did the artwork for the original Player's Handbook.
Oh, okay.
Plucking the stone out of the eye.
Yep.
So that's a Trampier piece. This is another Trampier piece. So it comes from the age of first edition, and it actually comes from one of the first edition core books.
Okay.
So it's from the monster manual, and it's a giant of the giants we know of in D&D. Which do you think this is?
Oh man, there's no harem domain, is there?
Well, no, but can we say that this is obviously not a hill giant?
No, probably I get kind of the flowy feel from the clothes, so maybe air.
Air. So what kind of giants are air like?
An air giant?
I'm really disappointed with your giant
frost
here.
Giant? I don't know.
No, keep going up. So
wait, Cloud.
I love that you actually choked. I love that you choked. Yes, Cloud Giant. This is the original art. This is the original artwork from the original monster manual for the Cloud Giant.
Cloud Giants are kind of I feel like you'd see them at Coachella on day 3.
Coachella day 3. Yes. Coachella day 3.
A little haggard.
I will never look at Cloud Giants the same again.
Definitely high.
With you. He's high.
Oh, for sure. Look at the face.
In that room behind him is just a massive hookah. Yeah.
You know what? No, it's even better. The thing that he's carrying is actually a pipe.
Yeah,
it's not even a club
at all. It's not a club at all. It's not a club at all.
Okay, he's definitely a butterface. So.
Let's leave our friend here behind.
All right. So next,
I love that you zoomed in.
I mean, it has to be shared. It's just, it's beyond.
I don't want to throw him under the bus, but this was not a first choice of mine. But a certain Jason wanted this image in, and I didn't not hate it, so I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. So next picture we have is this crown, which is very odd looking.
Yeah.
And it actually reminds me of sort of the mental picture that I had for the crown that your character in my campaign picked up.
Well, guess what? That's exactly why I found it and grabbed it.
Nice.
Look at that. So this is a Beholder crown.
Yeah.
Or Crown of the Beholder. I don't know if that's an actual magic item in D&D somewhere, but I went looking for stuff online, and there was a couple different versions and pictures of it, but I feel this one has the prepper die, black or white sort of. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The one in my head, because it didn't have a picture, there was a stat block in Fantasy Grounds that I just grabbed and used because it was something that was existing.
Okay.
And it didn't have a picture attached to it, so I've sort of pictured it more like this very, very sharp, pointy crown all the way up, very metal
all
based.
The way up.
All the way up. And the gemstones are kind of floating at the tips of it. That's sort of the mental picture I had. But this, I would say, is an amazing. If I had seen this, if this had been attached to it, I wouldn't even change it. I might color it because
there is a colored
how
version.
Extra I am.
There is a colored version. I not of this exact piece of art, but so this is Beholder Crown. We found it on the Forgotten Realms fandom wiki, nice. And this one we believe is the work of Artyom Pavlov.
Okay.
And we like it. We like it. The idea of a crown that shoots a bunch of different beams off your head. Yeah. I mean, and you made the one that you gave me cursed, that it literally spiked itself onto my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked it. I liked it very much. I think we found 3 different pieces of art for this magic item, and we just grabbed the one we liked. And I don't know. I don't think it has. I think even though once you say beholder, you can't unsee it.
No, not at all.
That's a pun in itself. But
once you behold it, you can't unbehold it.
That's right. But I do think that this also could be like a coral crown. I think it has that kind of look to it as well.
Or like seashell. It sort of has that texture, especially in the front. It has that sort of like the conch.
Yeah.
Like that conchy texture.
Yeah. Yeah.
And seaweedish.
Conchy texture.
Conchy.
It could be, I think that could very well be a seaweed crown. Why not? Yeah. Why not?
How many spokes are there? Are there 10? Yeah, 10. So it could be a squid.
Do squid have 10?
I think so. They do now, according to me.
Okay, I'm down. Octopus could have 10 if you wanted to, right?
Sure.
Sort of, kind of, maybe.
Even though it's in the name, Octa.
I know. So what? It would be a decapus?
A decapus, yeah.
That sounds dirty. Okay. All right. Let's bother our people.
Okay, we're going to bother our people.
Who are we bothering? Let's bother Chris first?
Yeah, we're going to bother Chris first.
There we go. I've asked Chris to unmute.
Let's see if he pays any attention.
He has no idea to pay attention.
Just stare right at him. Be like, Chris.
Jason is saying a squid has 10, definitely.
Okay, so I wasn't wrong there. Hi, Jay. We're being good for the most part. Maybe.
No.
Kate.
No.
Kate, can you hear us? Kate, can you yell at your husband? Kate. They've muted us completely.
Yeah, it's good. It's
freaking Zoom.
Let me see if I can get Jazzy to unmute. Hold on.
Okay.
There you go.
Hi.
Hey.
We tried to get Chris to unmute, but he's too locked in. He's laser focused.
Oh no.
He's laser focused. So how's it going?
Maybe I can text him.
No, don't text him yet. Okay. We can text him at the end. Because I don't. Then he'll unmute. We'll all be unmuted. How's it going?
Good. I love these images.
Is there one that sort of started the ball rolling for your epic one shot?
The one that stands out the most to me is definitely the swords in the hillside. It's just so dramatic and fantasy Stonehenge and worshipy, and there's something there. So that's definitely kind of where I'm headed to start the real adventure. That definitely got my juices going.
Good.
50 eyes. Sorry. PG.
It's okay. We're fine.
We got a little salacious.
Everything's fine. How are you? Is there one that isn't really fitting into the story that well?
Having a bit of trouble with our, weird jester dude.
The one leaning on the club?
Yeah. I'm seeing it as some sort of musical instrument.
Okay.
But
chat did ask if it was a didgeridoo.
Oh yeah, I could see it as a didgeridoo.
That is not what you thought. You thought it was perhaps a large.
I said chat thought it was a didgeridoo, sir.
Oh,
that's what I heard.
Sometimes I get put in my place.
Sometimes you don't even listen to me. I just.
This is one of those times. Affy thought it was a bong.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, I could see that too.
So there you go. Well, I hope you find a way to figure them out. We're about halfway through, maybe a little past the halfway mark.
A little above.
He's got me a little stumped, but I think I'm going to find a way to write him in.
It's a bong.
So. I have faith in you. Okay.
I believe in you.
It's a trippy adventure.
You go ahead and text Chris now and tell him to unmute.
I will. Unmute Chris.
No,
let's see if he has his phone. Maybe he doesn't have his phone there. Let's watch. We will watch him get the text message.
We'll watch him get the text message. It will be so funny. Bing! Just sent.
Nothing.
Nope. Out of it.
Nothing. He's laser focused. And I think poor Kate keeps almost falling over.
I think she has to go get the baby.
It's baby time. Okay, well, we're gonna let you get back to it, Jazzy.
I'm gonna get back to writing.
Do it. Appreciate you. In the meantime, while we wait for Chris
maybe Kate heard the text message come in and she's like, "Whose phone is that?"
I don't know, but we have Kit and Cam right now, so
I know. I have sent messages to both of them to unmute. If they don't, that's fine. We'll get to them at the end.
Yeah.
Do you want to do our next image while we wait?
Sure. Let's do that.
Let's do that. This is a very unconventional prep or die. I kind of like it.
Yeah. Throwing all the curveballs. All right. So our next image is some guy with some bird-like creature.
Some guy.
But the closer you look at some guy, he is not some guy. He is some dead guy.
He's some dead guy. I don't think the bird creature is a dead creature, though.
No, I don't think so. It's
alive.
A rock, right?
Can you guess who this piece of artwork is from?
I don't know, but that guy's bag is making me uncomfortable.
Can we have a zoom in on the bag?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man, yeah. There's something going on with that bag.
Yeah. Okay, I just have to share this. It's not related to the picture, but Plush Viking just asked, "What do you call a group of DMs?"
I don't know.
An awkward of DMs. Because let's be real.
So this is a dead guy beneath those rows.
Yeah.
So do you think you can guess who the artist is? I mean, look really hard at that.
It's like right on the tip of my tongue, and I've had a day, Jeremy. So just be nice to me.
Hi, Kate.
Hi.
Oh, hi, Kate.
Sorry, she's playing games where she's throwing stuff into a corner where she can't get it, and then she wants me to get it for her.
So. That's okay.
You do not need to apologize. We have tried to unmute Chris. He is so laser focused. He does not see my request for him to unmute. So we're just gonna move on to you.
Okay.
Does that sound good? Is there a picture that sort of started the ball rolling for you? Or one that did not work well for you that you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do this.
I mean, I think I have something planned out for all of them. I definitely saw the airship as a starting point.
Nice.
So yeah.
We have not shown chat and airship yet. So if you're like, what airship, guys? You just need to settle down and we're going to get to the airship. We're going to get to the airship. The airship was selected specifically for this group tonight because of your Spelljammer.
Nice. That's awesome.
Background. I'm glad that you were able to get started on one of them. But you've got sort of something for everything, or is there one that's sort of like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this?
I mean, no, I think I've got it all. I'm just kind of fitting the pieces together. I've got probably about 2/3 of it mapped out, so I'm just trying to put words or a rough outline to the last part. So.
Well, I think you're about 2/3 of your way through your time, so that works out really well.
About 12 minutes.
That works out really well. Okay, We're going to go see if we can get Chris's attention.
Okay. I'll see if he's got the baby monitor turned up. I'm not sure. I'll hang on. I can mute myself.
Thank you.
I love this.
The baby monitor out here. So like, we've got like cameras all over the house. So he's got
baby
the monitor
monitors
in there.
Are the best.
It's awesome. So
the best.
Oh, I got a message.
Okay,
there we go.
Okay,
hey.
we're gonna mute Kate.
Right.
Okay, Chris, how's it going?
It's going good.
Is there a picture that sort of started the ball rolling for you, or one that like you're like, I don't know what to do with this?
Let's see. Well, the airship definitely got me going.
Yeah.
It's a way to get the party to where I want them to go.
Excellent.
And then the picture of the swords is where the location would be in my mind, anyway.
Yeah, I really like that picture of the swords. There's something. It makes me ask a whole bunch of questions. I think anytime there's a picture like that works well.
Yeah, I think fantastic locations are a really good way to draw players in and to make them interested in things. And they're like, ooh, giant swords! Wow.
Yeah, cool. For sure. Well, we won't keep you because you've only got about 10 minutes left.
Yep.
Okay.
So we'll let you get back to it, and we'll see you in 10 minutes, and we'll see what everybody's come up with.
Sounds good.
Excellent.
Alrighty. Okay. So back to
everybody's doing really well. Like
champs.
Yeah. We've never really. I mean, maybe we give too much time. Maybe we pick pictures that aren't challenging enough. But like, we've never had one where people are like, I don't know what to do.
We've had a couple where like the one image is just throwing them off, like the sort of whole aesthetic.
That's true.
So
I think my love of TPKs and party deaths makes me want to see. I think I enjoy seeing people fail.
Yeah, it's because you're a sadist.
Maybe.
So the name finally came to me as we were talking to Chris.
Okay, go.
Gary Chalk.
Yay!
I'm like sitting here like.
I'm like, she knows. Gary Chalk. We can't do a prep or die without a Gary Chalk.
No, we love Gary Chalk.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When Jason and I get together to pick images, generally we go, let's search what we can find out of Gary Chalk's library and see what sort of lands with us.
There's so much there.
I don't think this was the first picture though that we sort of came up with and said, let's go with this one. I don't think this is where it all started. However, no, I think the airship is where it all started for us this week, which we'll get to. But this does have a very Lord of the Rings. Someone I think already in chat mentioned that
the Witch King.
Yeah. This very much has sort of like the ring wraith and the okay. I'm drawing a blank. What are the things the ring wraiths ride? Nazguls. No, is that what?
No, or is that what they're called? That's another.
The ring wraiths are called the Nazgul. Someone put it in chat. I know someone out there in chat knows what the ring wraiths ride on. They're maybe screaming bad words at me right now for not knowing.
I couldn't remember Gary Chalk. Don't look at me today. Like it's just not.
But
it's not happening today.
it has that sort of Lord of the Rings feeling, right?
Absolutely. And I think Artemis said that this is the person that's trying to get the party to remove the swords from the dead god from the picture. From the first picture.
Well, that is right on. I think that would make perfect sense.
A fell beast.
No, I think there's another name for it.
Oh. I don't know.
Come on now. What do ring wraiths ride? It's got to be. Google's going to auto-fill it for me.
A Nazdon't?
A Nazdon't?
A Nazgoblin? Instead of a Nazgul?
What do ring wraiths ride? Well, I mean...
Plush Viking says in their early forays, they ride on black horses. Later, they ride flying monsters, which Tolkien describes as pterodactylic.
Yes, that's right out of Google. And so is the Fell Beast reference right out of Google.
So you were wrong.
So I'm
you
wrong.
apologize to Artemis right now.
I'm sorry, Artemis.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry. Okay, so this comes from one of the Lone Wolf books. We couldn't track down which one, but it's Gary Chalk from one of the many Lone Wolf books out there. Mm-hmm. And we just love Gary Chalk, so it had to happen. It had to happen.
Absolutely.
Artemis still loves me. So
well, that's good. At least that's one of you.
Oh man. Oh man.
Kate, I can't tell if Kate is listening to us and being like, "Oh, burn" or not. But I'm here for it.
I think she's just playing. It's not. She has her baby there. That's obviously. But one last time before we move away from the picture, take a look at that sack.
Yeah, it's such a glorious sack. Very bulbous.
Yeah. Okay. Next picture.
Next picture.
Before we get in trouble.
Before Jason yells at us. So.
Yes, it is plush. I agree with you 100%.
It is 100%.
Let me just say that this is the picture where we started picking pictures from, and we picked it for no other reason than Knights of Roleplay is a Spelljammer podcast. And, when we interviewed Chris on Old Men Rolling Dice, Chris goes Chris has been playing almost as long as I have. I've got a couple years on him. He's got way more hair on his head than I do, though, so I'm going to give it to him in all realm. So we were like, we need some kind of spell jamming, or it doesn't even have to be spell jamming. Who doesn't love an airship in their adventure?
Yeah, and the flag in it gives it like pirate vibes, so we're talking like sky pirates. Mm-hmm. And there you can see when we zoom in a little bit that there's a dude up in the crow's nest. Like,
is there really?
Yeah.
Oh, there is. I can see it now.
And he looks, honestly, it looks like he's sleeping because he's got his feet hanging out of it, and he's just kind of like, "Yep, I'm up chilling in the sky."
He's chilling.
I'm taller than everybody.
That is not a regular skull and crossbones. Can you see that? It's like a skull with
it's got wings on it.
Bone wings. I'm in for it.
Get in a little closer without it getting too pixelated.
Plush Viking goes, is that an airship really, or a flying boat? Or is it just a boat that's been thrown by a giant?
Given the fact that it has wings, I'm going to go flying boat.
You're going to go flying boat? Okay. Yeah. I'm with you. I think it's an airship. I think it's a flying boat. I think it's awesome. It
can be all of them. Maybe it's a flying boat that a giant threw and just didn't realize that it could fly.
Maybe. maybe. Whatever it is, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I really like it. It makes me want to write a domain that's air pirates.
In Ravenloft?
Yeah. Because right now I've got the party in like the Sea of Sorrows, and that's a water pirate sort of situation going on.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna throw some air pirates in too.
Why what? Yeah. What if the Sea of Sorrow, though, the water just sort of, like the edge of the world, it falls off, but the boats keep going through the mist.
Well, that's how it's written in the book. Mm-hmm. It indicates that the Sea of Sorrows is one of the connecting planes, where water, if there's water in a domain, somehow this boat can travel through it. So like a Vistani boat or something.
I like how you said travel there. Travel. You sounded very Wisconsin.
I try. I've been talking to Artemis a lot. Mini Canada.
Mini Canada. Wisconsin, mini Canada. I mean, and plus it's flying over the mountains. I think, like Chris sort of already mentioned, that the adventuring party is going to be on the boat and they're going to try to reach the place with the swords in his game. I would like to see someone turn that on its head and like make the boat the bad guys.
But the party can be bad.
Naughty party.
Naughty pirates. Naughty pirate gods.
I agree. They can be like that. I
also feel like just the sheer scale of those swords. Like, you're going to need some sort of aerial assistance to get them out.
If you have to get them out.
If you have to get them out. Like, if that's the goal.
Maybe you don't have to get them out. Maybe you just have to, Okay, cool.
But if that's the goal, then I think having some sort of air support would probably be the best way to get them out. If that's the route that the party goes.
Yeah. And I love the front of the ship having the spiky ram bits. That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like...
It would fight like an air balloon and just pop it.
You could run it into the cloud giant.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wouldn't look so cool after that. Okay. Well, are we out of time?
We got a minute and a bit still, so we can keep talking about the cool airship.
You're gonna give them that minute or so?
Why not? There have been children distractions and then yelling
you're being
at people.
Very nice. You're being very nice to them.
Well, see, it's because you're a jerk, so I have to make up for it.
You're like being really nice to them and not so nice to me. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
This is not new.
You know what? I wish I could do a poll right now. I can't do a poll, unfortunately, in chat because we don't have access to that. But
just
I really
say
like to maybe if you're in chat, can you let us know if you've played Spelljammer before?
Aye.
And I don't mean like someone who gave you a flying ship. I mean an actual Spelljammer game. Put in chat there if you've done that, and if you haven't, then say no. That's fine. And I'm gonna ask people to unmute now because I think they're ready to go.
I think so too. I guess we got kitty kisses. We got an eye. We're good. I think.
Big chunky dude. This is Pawnee.
Hi,
Pawnee. Pawnee right here.
It's just cats showing up from everywhere.
He's a good buddy.
Is everyone done?
Yes.
Yes.
Would help if I actually turned my volume back up, eh?
Yay.
Yay.
Definitely helpful, eh?
I didn't even do that on purpose.
Good day, eh?
Good day, eh? We're gonna look at your one shots, eh?
Did everyone get done?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yes.
We were just talking about how
mostly.
I enjoy failure. And I don't think we've ever had a complete and utter failure on Prep or Die.
Well, there was DM Jangy.
Oh my god! Throwing Jangy under the bus?
I'm not saying it was a failure, but the amount of BSing that came before he finally told us what was happening made me think that he didn't have anything ready.
You think so?
I think so.
I never thought of that.
I'm ready.
If Jangy's out there, we're throwing shade on you.
We throw shade because we love.
Listen, all dungeon masters are BS artists to some.
That's true.
It's part of the job.
So even when they don't have something prepped, they have to sell that they have it prepped.
Yeah, it's a post-it that says "Don't kill the players tonight."
I just shamefully shake my finger at my players.
I've been trying to get the party. I've been trying to get these guys to DM since I started. And at first I had everybody do a battle royale. I sort of wrote it and I gave it to them, and then I got to play in it, which was great. And then I had them each do one adventure in the Involo's wake for that time that covered when Liliana was born.
Yep.
And then John did Curse of Strahd and Sarah's doing Candlekeep. So I've been trying to slowly kind of introduce everybody to the DM style and tell them so much of it is improv. You have to improv a lot. You have to BS a lot sometimes.
Fake it.
If people do things, fake it till you make it kind of thing.
I think that is the difference between a good DM and a average DM. The average DM, when things go off the rails, is in real panic mode and unable to sort of keep it together, which is fine because players are horrible people when they do stuff like that.
And Pod says they minored in BS in college.
Yeah. And then the ones that can BS, I minored in BS in college. Yes. Yes. I really do. I think if someone is able to just BS their way through something, they're a good dungeon master.
Absolutely.
They're a good dungeon master.
Yeah.
I think I might have been the first person to be like way on board with you, Chris. I was like, yes, I want to do this.
I think you were
behind the screen.
Was it just you trying to escape the bonds of being a DM and be a player?
It kind of was, I mean, even though like it's weird because I was mostly a player for like 28 years, so I don't really have a lot to complain about. A lot of forever DMs have been forever DMs like their entire career. I've played almost 30 years as mostly a player, but since falling in love with DMing, I'll go for like 6 months and I'll be like, oh, I haven't played a character like one time.
I'm gonna tell you something. Forever DMs are not forever DMs because they can't find someone to DM for them. Forever DMs are forever DMs because they want to be a DM. And any forever DM that wants to argue that with me is welcome to, but they're full of it. they want to be behind the screen. They don't want to get out from behind the screen, because if they wanted to, they could find the game. So we're going to talk about our come at me DMs if you want to in chat. Come at me. If you want, we're going to roll a d12.
Yep.
And that will dictate who tells their one shot first.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Okay.
Do
I don't worry about the numbers.
the numbers.
Yeah, you're totally doing the numbers.
We can't do rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock.
You can do that if you want.
You want to do that?
No.
No, I don't want to do that. Quiet, Sarah.
Rochambeau, you're for it.
You hear what I
Rochambeau, I go
You hear
first.
what I deal with?
Yeah.
All right, I've got my D12. So, Chris, you are 1 to 4. Kate, you are 5 to 8. And Jazzy,
Okay.
you are 9 to 12.
You didn't show off the dice like you know.
Oh, yeah, I should show off the dice, but
No, you've rolled it now. It's on the floor.
Oh, it's on the floor.
It's on the floor.
It's dead.
Oh, that's a good question. Is it a dead dice, everyone?
Yes.
Your game?
It's well, for me, it's dead.
It's dead. I think Affy literally
yeah,
lost.
I don't
her
know
dice.
where it went. It's not a
Oh,
small
no.
die either. It is like a 25 millimeter, like
Big-
big sparkle vomit die.
Oh,
Nice.
sparkle
Yay,
vomit.
glitter. I love my glitter dice.
I don't know where it
Is it
went.
I have
gone?
a set of
Is it
sparkle
really gone?
vomit dice too.
Okay, I have the opposite of a sparkle vomit dice here. I have like a basic box set.
Oh, nice.
Crayon D12.
Gotta
Oh,
fill it in.
boy.
You got to fill it in with the crayon.
Yeah.
Okay, do
This-
the crayon because
Here, here goes. Do you know the numbers? Do you know
yes.
Don't get like that with me. I'll go.
Look, I lost my sparkle vomit. Okay, I'm a
You know
little
what?
upset.
I
That's
roll-
a sad day.
Here you go. I just rolled this dice, and this is how DM I am. I looked at it and I'm like, oh, that's an interesting number, but should I fudge it to something else? When your life you just too much Dungeons and Dragons. It's a 4.
It's a 4. Okay,
Okay.
There's no lie there.
That's Chris.
sus.
Is that Chris?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Okay, Chris. I did not fudge to you or away from you.
All right.
The dice has chosen you. Tell us what your one shot's all about.
Okay. So my one shot is called The Crown of Everdeath. And the adventure begins aboard the airship Telemany, headed for a location called the Swords of Worldwake. The 3 swords are hundreds of feet high, with their points thrust into the ground by the gods themselves. Below the swords is the tomb of the Lich Vanthrax. Vanthrax had the gall to oppose the gods over a millennia ago. Vanthrax used a powerful artifact called the Crown of Everdeath to bolster its own power to a level equivalent to the gods. A hero named Fulgrim Hathorn, wielding a mace enchanted by the gods, was the first to attempt to stop Vanthrax. Fulgrim was unaware of the Lich's true power and fell swiftly under Vanthrax's dark power. Vanthrax then went to the spot where the Swords of Worldwake now reside and challenged the gods. Once Vanthrax was defeated by 3 of the most powerful gods, who barely had the combined power to stop it, the gods placed their swords in the location of the battle and a tomb was created below for the Crown of Everdeath. The magic of the swords keeps the crown's influence from reaching beyond the tomb, as the gods themselves were not capable of destroying it. The party has recently come by the knowledge that a new cult, the Cult of Vanthrax, is traveling to the Swords of Worldwake in the hopes of finding the Crown of Everdeath. Aboard the airship Telemany, the party will be attacked en route by large undead bats sent by the cult. A battle will occur while the airship is in mid-flight. Once the bats are defeated, the party will arrive at the Swords of Worldwake, and will have to investigate to find the entrance to the tomb of Vanthrax. Telltale signs left by the cult who have already arrived will help the party to find the tomb's entrance. Once inside the tomb, the party will have to make their way past a series of traps that include pit traps, crushing stones, and fire, because fire is cool. As the party makes their way through the tomb, they will encounter a host of undead minions from the Cult of Vanthrax. Zombies, mummies, and skeletons will wear the party's resources down before the final confrontation with Zakar, the cult leader. The party will arrive in the main chamber of the tomb where the Crown of Everdeath is located, just as Zakar is in the middle of a ritual designed to break the magic of the 3 swords and allow the crown to come to full power. This boss battle will occur in 3 waves. the first being about 6 to 8 cultists with poison daggers. Upon their defeat, Zakar will animate 2 large statues to battle the party. Finally, the party will face Zakar, who has been protected thus far by a semi-transparent dark sphere of necrotic energy. The party's combined resources will drop the sphere. If they were not able to get to Zakar in time, he will complete the ritual and all will be lost. If they get to him before the completion of the ritual, they should be able to defeat him, but in his death throes, a wave of necrotic energy will burst from his body, causing further harm. With Zakar defeated, the crown will continue to rest.
That is very good, dude.
I don't want to follow that.
Thank you.
Okay, this is what I like about this. First of all, I don't know that we've ever had people name so much in a one-shot on here before. So I'm all in on that. Naming the we've had people give like, oh, this is the title of my one-shot. I love the name World Wake. What was the ship's name?
The Telemony.
Yeah, the Crown of Everdeath. I mean, the cultist leader's name. We had lots of names.
I'm disappointed at the lack of Kyle, however.
The lack of Kyle. You would like the Lich to be called Kyle.
Yeah.
We have this. Was it our first prepper die?
It was near the beginning.
There was this
it might have been the second
apprentice, and he was named Kyle, and we just thought that was great.
Yeah, he becomes like the BBEG. So.
And the death, like killing the guy and then him exploding and doing more damage. I think that's like some second edition Dragonlance there.
Yeah.
First edition Dragonlance. Death throws. I like that. I like that. Oh, that was great, Chris.
Yeah,
Thanks.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
I made notes, so I'm stealing ideas.
I'm gonna have to run this now.
I'm stealing ideas. If you do, please let us know.
I want to play it.
Yeah, please let us know. Yeah, that's awesome. And undead bats, amazing. And traps. Who doesn't like traps? I also like that the scale is very large and that like there's gods and liches involved, but this could be a relatively low level adventure still fighting the cult.
Yeah, it absolutely could be. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, are we rolling to see who goes next?
Yeah, you'll have to roll though because my sparkle vomit is still missing.
I hope a cat doesn't get it.
It's a little too big for them to eat.
11.
All right, so that would be Jazzy.
Jazzy's up.
Boy. I don't want to follow him.
Oh, don't be intimidated by him.
Just put Kyle in last minute. Kyle.
Quite as detailed as my primary dungeon master, Chris Buckner.
You're awesome, Sarah. You are awesome.
So
there was probably a lot of BS there. Right? I mean, we just talked about DMs BSing, so I'm sure you can BS. Go for it. Go. I'll shut up.
All right. So our adventurers have been mercenaries for the crown for a long time. So when you're starting out, your existence has been honorable, but you have disdain for the kingdom at this point because you're both feared and respected. But life is arduous. Your parties become careless in their now easy existence, protected by the crown, and they're accustomed to their way of life. So the adventurers, the idea is that they're being sent on a task by the king to seek out a fool of a giant. Their orders are to kill on sight, and because the giant's been causing trouble amongst the hill folk, spreading rumors of the crown's corruption and greed, warning that the crown will crumble and be reduced to nothing but a circlet of bones if something is not done. If the party accepts their task, they're off towards the mountains, and they find themselves climbing higher and higher, till they come to a land where they start to feel dwarfed by the scenes around them. Massive formations, rocks, geysers, and carvings. At one point, they will come to a very sheer steep cliff, and a skill challenge would be involved for them to be able to climb the cliff. If the party fails the skill challenge, they would be met by an NPC named Necromi on his winged bird mount. And with successful roleplay, you can convince him to bring you up the cliff, or you may choose to fight him and take the bird mount from him and climb the cliff that way. Well, fly up the cliff. Sorry. I talk with my hands.
I do too.
It's all good.
It's probably why the sparkle vomit has disappeared.
Yes. If they succeed in skill check, they would climb the ledge and be greeted by a circle of 100-foot swords in the distance that pierce the mountainside, and Nakrimi would then be up there waiting to talk to them. If they choose to make friends with Nakrimi instead of killing him, he would become an ally throughout the adventure. So he would be a source of knowledge, since he obviously knows what's going on. So when they approach the swords, which are off in the distance, they would then see, as they approach, a giant in flowing robes and gear, worshipping a geyser that's erupting from within the circle. He's sounding a low, booming instrument and chanting as the fires that are built around the geyser are forming clouds of steam that are floating through the sky and away from the swords, as if he's summoning or building something. If you choose to speak with the giant, his name is Claudius. He'll give the following information, but it would be a very hard skill check, as he's very timid of the party and not quite so trusting, if you will. So the information that he would have is that the giants are actually peaceful and the crown is lying about their so-called crimes. They have foreseen that the crown will indeed wither the land away and make it fall to ruins. The ritual is indeed building clouds that will rain magical rejuvenating magic down to the earth's below. And Claudius and his kin are only seeking to bring balance back to the nature of the land. They want nothing to do with the dealings of the crown and any other races for that matter, hence him being not really into talking to you. And he seems rather happy, if you will.
You missed the gesture, Jeremy. You missed the gesture.
I was busy writing notes. What did I miss?
He's very happy.
Oh, okay. I understand that kind of happy.
So if you offer to abandon your mission for the king and help the giants, they will reward you with this magical flying ship. I didn't name my ship, but it flies. Because
Kyle.
Fly are awesome. And with that magical flying ship, it will take you wherever you need to go to assist the magical Claudius and his king with the awakening of the Earth's rebirth. That's about where I got.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I didn't have an end game yet, but
okay. So this is what I liked. First of all, adventurers hate the king. Adventurers always hate the king. Have you ever known a set
Damn
of
the man,
man. Have you ever met a set of adventurers that actually respect the authority in place wherever they are?
No.
Well, Kyle doesn't respect the authority.
It does not respect my authority. The ship should be named the Mary Jane.
SS Mary Jane.
Yes, yep. That I love it. Yes.
I love the names Necromi and Claudius.
Yep.
Both. Claudius being afraid of the adventures, I thought is perfect because my co-host is like the number one murder hobo. And she will kill any NPC. And for that reason,
try to be diplomatic, but if my bard rolls suck and Jeremy's being a jerk, then I kill them.
I love the fact that the party does not respect authority. I love the fact that the NPC is afraid of the PCs because murder hobos. And
there's a lot of those. There
are. Mm-hmm. And I like the idea of the rejuvenating clouds.
Yeah, me too.
I even wrote it down and put in big letters, steal this. And as I was putting steal this, that's where Affy's like, Jeremy, you missed it. And I'm like, what?
Well, the weird gestury guy kind of looked like a hippie. So I was thinking,
yeah,
Earth Earth, man. So
Earth.
yeah.
I like the fact that Sarah used a skill challenge, because I had
Yes.
brought those over from 4th edition and used them before, and she took that and ran with it. And I think skill challenges are awesome.
They're one of my favorite things that Chris does for our campaigns. So I wanted to incorporate that.
I think that from 4th edition, two of the biggest things that I see brought over from 4th edition, skill challenges for one, and number 2 is the bloodied rules.
We use bloodied.
We do use bloodied.
Okay,
we do.
There you go. Yeah. Bloodied. I have a player that I don't use them. Not to any sort of extent. And I have a player who is always asking me, like when they're fighting monsters, is it bloodied?
That's Sarah.
Yeah.
How much damage have we done to this thing? Is it bloody?
It's bloody.
I'm like, we're not playing with that. Go away.
But you still answer.
And what does bloody mean?
I do still answer.
So for
What does
anybody
bloody
listening
mean?
who doesn't know what bloodied is,
Below half its maximum hit points.
fair.
Yes. So in 4th edition, if a creature reached half its hit points, it was declared to be bloodied, and you could use that. And you, generally speaking, the stat block of the monster could change when it hits the bloodied condition.
Yeah.
In other words, maybe it starts fighting stronger, or maybe it starts fighting weaker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know-
sometimes they would do more damage, or people would get bonuses to hit or damage against them.
Yeah. It is a neat mechanic. Like, you could do it, and it doesn't even have to be at 50%. You could do, you could stack it at every 25% of the battle. Something about the monster changes. It gets very video gamey sort of stage fighting. Like at this, we're into this stage of the fight now. We're
Yeah.
into this stage of the fight now.
I'd never played 4th edition, so I didn't know about the bloody thing until I started playing with you. And it reminded me
And grab the
of
baby.
when in World of Warcraft, when you're in a boss battle and it enrages.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Yeah.
it starts doing stupid damage. And yeah, that's what it reminded me of when you said that it can change the whole dynamic of the fight at that point. So that was I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, you could have a mechanic where the dragon can only breathe its breath weapon maybe once every 3 rounds, but when it's bloodied, it can breathe its breath weapon every round.
Yeah.
Or it stops breathing its breath weapon and does something else. But, yeah. We're getting very sidetracked here.
I'm here for Claudius, and I'm here for Necromi.
Sidetracked.
No, never.
No, never.
Never.
Never happens.
Never.
Ever.
Always
Always on point.
Do I have to roll the dice, or can we just say it's Kate's turn?
You roll the dice to see how much damage you do, obviously.
I'm rolling the dice. I got a 1.
Okay.
Oh, Chris
so
goes
It's Chris again. That
Kate
guy.
survives.
He's trying to distract the baby so that I'll have the time to try to step through all my notes here that now I've been
Yes, I'm on
ignoring for
baby
20
duty.
minutes because she got really clingy. So.
I'm on baby duty right now.
All right,
Kate.
so let's see here. I didn't have a title, but because Chris had one, then I thought about it, and I think the title would be the Veil of Darkness for
I
mine.
like that.
So I would start it with a party of probably higher level, level 11, since you suggested it, Jeremy.
Oh, well, there you go.
Adventures, just because it would let me throw more at them combat wise. I mean, I've only ever DM'd something that's canned like Below's Wake. So the whole idea of balancing combat encounters that you make up yourself, that's very new to me. So I didn't do a lot of detail for any of mine, unlike my show off hubby. So let's see here. They are established adventurers who are already journeying together on an airship. The adventure would start with them just going between point A and B day-to-day life, and then they would get caught up in a storm or cyclone. And I would put them through a skill challenge with that. And depending on the results of that, that would help to dictate how much damage that they individually took and possibly levels of exhaustion as well. So they would pop out of that storm and the ship would be badly damaged to the point where it would be basically limping and need to land right away to make repairs. And they would be right near a floating basically chunk of land with a rocky landscape and a tower on it. So I would assume that hopefully the party would land there rather than crash to the ground down below. And as they explore the rocky terrain, they would end up having to fight a group of skeletons and scabs. as a first combat for the one shot. And winning out in that fight, they would continue exploring and eventually find the tower in the middle of this floating island in the sky. And at the top of the tower, they would find a lich. I'm going to say he's Khazad-dûn because I'm making an homage to Lord of the Rings here, so why not? And his mount at the top. And Khazad-dûn would offer to help them with the ship repairs that they needed to get back home to land at a cost. He would ask them to seek the Crown of Spires, which is a powerful artifact. And he'd be evasive about why that is, although if the party paid close enough attention, there would be little tells here and there that he's actually trapped there in that tower on that floating island in the sky. And he would offer them an award of 50,000 gold if they accomplish this for him. And give them the advice to seek a traveling warrior named Malik in the town below, who can help them on their journey, and that Malik has a large club-type weapon. So if the party made that agreement, they would get what they needed to repair the ship, and they would be able to fly back down to visit the village of Fieldcrest down below. So there they would indeed find Malik, the warrior, at a local tavern. And assuming that they would ask him for help, he would be somewhat reluctant to do that. He would explain that the crown lies in a place called the Temple of Swords at the peak of a nearby mountain, and that one must be pure of heart to get the crown. I will preface this, I would have another rule for my party starting out, that I would want them to be an overall good, perhaps somewhat lawful aligned party, just because murder hobos wouldn't fit well for the story as I've written it.
Darn you.
I'm sorry.
She doesn't like my chaotic neutral characters.
Hey, yeah. I'm doing that.
Jeremy puts up with mine.
Syndra's a little more chaotic, but yeah. So they would journey with Malik, often, or they could take the airship if they wanted to. But at the entrance to the mountains, I would write it so that you either have like steep ravines, caves, or something where the airship can't pass, and they have to go on foot from there. So as they ascended, I would have them fight a small group of stone golem guardians, and possibly complete some more skill challenges, like a series of traps to avoid with falling rocks, some gates to figure out how to open. And then they would reach the peak, which would be a spire near a giant jagged crater. And there would stand the three giant swords around a central altar area with more glyphs and symbols. So there would be another puzzle for them to figure out, to try to solve the puzzle of the glyphs. And when they solved that puzzle, the crown would appear in a pillar of light at the center of the temple. But at the same time, with each party member being engaged with different glyphs to help solve the puzzle, they would all receive a vision, and they would see that the crown of Spires is something that could enable Khazad-dûn the Lich to gain his freedom from the spire in the sky, and that he would be able to use that to spread a veil of death over the entire world down below, and that the only way to prevent that is to complete the ritual that had been started within that temple to render the crown inert and to permanently banish Khazad-dûn, who had only been partially banished to that tower in the sky. So having seen that, the party would turn around and find that Malik had suddenly changed and had revealed himself as an agent of Khazad-dûn. His major illusion would drop, and standing before them would be a tall sorcerer, and instead of a long club would be a long staff. And he would summon forth a group of elementals to attack the party, and he would attempt to take the crown. So the party would be left to fight for that. I would scale Malik so that he was an extremely challenging fight at whatever state they were at that point. So they would have a choice. They would either need to try to kill him and the elementals to stop them, or they would need to soak the damage and plan their strategy so that they could complete the ritual with additional glyphs or manipulation within the temple to stop the crown. So with that complete via either method. There would be a howl of anger from the sky as Khazad-dûm was permanently banished. Suddenly, where the crater was next to them, the chunk of land with the tower would reappear, now less dark and looking more holy. The temple would have been a temple of Pelor, by the way. I meant to include that in the vision. And basically, no more Lich. The Lich would have been permanently banished, but truly inside the tower, they would find the 50,000 gold to end their adventure.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Yay, my wife did a Lich.
Yay.
Kate, I have a question.
Yeah.
What was the fact that it was Pelor inspired by Claire Bear?
No, but now I remember. So my current character in Spelljammer, Mayaheen, is actually, I think, like a cleric or a demigod under Pelor. So yeah, I know about it from that too.
Okay. I was going to ask.
Awesome. Yay,
because as soon as you said it, all I could think was the power of Pelor.
I love that you use Pelor because Greyhawk. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't think Greyhawk stuff gets used enough. So Pelor, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. I liked
awesome.
the indication that there were some things that were a little maybe hinky about him.
Sorry, what did you just say?
Hinky.
I don't think that's a word.
It is absolutely a word.
She just said it.
I knew
so
what you were going for. I got it.
It's a word, and you can Google it, and I'm right, and you're wrong.
Okay. I know not to argue with you.
Listen, I rule at Scrabble for a reason.
I like the levels of exhaustion added for the crash of the ship. I don't think exhaustion levels are used enough.
No, I agree.
And it doesn't matter how tough your character is, exhaustion, takes the wind out of them literally and figuratively very quickly.
Yeah, cool idea.
Yeah, very cool. And I love that Malik sort of turns out to be a double agent.
Yep.
And you mentioned scaling on Malik to make him an appropriate challenge. This is something I don't know if every DM does this, but this is something that I've done in the past, and I'm maybe Chris or Jazzy have also done it as well. But you can have a villain that isn't solidified in concrete that you're going to adjust to make either they've been walking through everything, so I'm going to ramp them up, or my gosh, I've kicked the crap out of the party. There's not much left, so I'm going to scale him down a bit.
I think we've all run fights where there was the option, Volo's Wake does a good job of setting up the combat so you can basically throw in extra numbers of baddies depending on how the party is doing. But for this,
that
it's
particular, it's actually written in there on how to adjust it up or down, depending on how your adventurers are doing.
In this case, I would very much want that fight to be that, trying to go the path of just ramming into the bad guys head on would be hard enough that you'd have at least a few people, at death's door unconscious by doing so, to kind of present that enticing alternative of, gee, maybe we need to figure out the ritual instead. I think Chris has given us some combats that are kind of in that flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have the parties that just kind of push through anyway. They get saved by chat. And that's the only reason they're still alive.
That's interesting. We could do a talk on that one time on the podcast. That would be interesting. So a lot of our games online here, when we play on stream, we give the opportunity for chat to heal the party or boost the party in other ways. And it's very difficult to scale an encounter properly when people like Artemis heals the party over and over and over again.
The solution to that is just to invite Artemis.
We never stash points.
Yeah, I think it happens. I think it happens. I'm not in the one game anymore. Artemis is actually a player, so now would be my turn to step in and boost the bad guys all the time. Artemis was very kind to players.
I never watch any streams where I'm totally for the DM and save up points to create chaos or anything.
Yeah.
No, never.
I've never done that.
No, never seen it happen ever.
Nope.
Well, everybody, that was awesome. I normally ask a question about how you prep or how you get ready for a session, but I want to do it a little different tonight. The three of you are involved in a very long-running Spelljammer campaign. Wizards has just announced that they're bringing Spelljammer back. So I would just like to get your guys' reaction to that, because I can tell you prior to Wizards doing this, and I think Chris and I maybe talked about this when we did our collaboration podcast. Like there's a camp of people that just loved Spelljammer, and there's a camp of people that just do not like Spelljammer. This is not Dungeons and Dragons for them. Right. And I would say that overall the Spelljammer announcement was what came out very well. Like lots of people were excited. So I think there's some people that are lying and jumping on bandwagons. But you guys actually live it and play it. So I want to know what your opinion was when it was like, we're going to bring Spelljammer back.
I thought it was really cool because, I mean, I thought it would be like the last place that they would go, you know, except maybe Dark Sun. I thought maybe Dark Sun or Spelljammer would be like the last kind of campaign war that they would go to. And so when I saw it coming out, I was like, it would have been really cool if you come up with that about 2 years and 4 months ago when I started my campaign.
Before you had to customize all our content.
Yeah, I mean, I have all the second edition stuff, and I basically leveraged that to make the campaign. But the fact that they actually chose that and they actually decided to create it, I mean, I'm actually really, really excited for it. So our campaign is probably going to end right as it comes out, which is ironic. But I'm excited that they came out with it.
Jazzy, Kate, what are you guys' feelings on this Spelljammer announcement?
I'm super stoked. I saw the teaser trailer on April 1st of the hamster just like flying through space.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's just mean. It's an April Fool's joke. Well, apparently the joke was that it wasn't a joke.
Yeah.
So when I saw it come out, I was like, that's pretty darn toot and cool. But have you
guys encountered a giant space hamster in your Spelljammer campaign?
No, but I'm gonna have to put it in now.
Yeah, you are.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's just the increased popularity of 5e or just how many people are so mainstream with D&D these days. Maybe the sci-fi element is causing such more interest in Spelljammer. I don't know. I'm excited to see what they're doing with it, though.
Kate, how about you?
Oh, yeah, I think a little bit of excitement mixed with like a little bit of annoyance at the timing, right? Because I know that the material would have been cool for Chris to have. But other than that, you know, we can sit there and hope that
sharks.
Maybe they were inspired by us and any other people doing podcasts using Spelljammer, because I think I may have heard of some other groups doing it. But I guess I'm just overall excited because like what I've seen of like, you know, the retro art and me doing Photoshop trying to clean things up so we could use them from old scans that people took, and like knowing what little bit of the retro that Chris has exposed us to, and like some of the old races, and there were probably, you know, stereotypes that they used for things back then that are not so tasteful or PC today. So I guess I'm just very excited because they've done such a good job with other modern things like Curse of Strahd, just kind of to see their modern take on it, because I'm a sci-fi girl since forever, so I think it's just going to be neat.
I think even with this, if you take the sci-fi elements of Spelljammer away, I think what Spelljammer did, at least for when I played it, was that like there was so if you're an old stick in the mud grognard, which maybe I have elements of in my personality,
you're like
it's Tolkien, Dungeons and Dragons, or bust, right? Like I want dwarves, I want elves, and forget all. I
know
no
stuff. One like that.
And I feel like there is Spelljammer goes. You know, we can throw all that aside. There can be any, you know, you can literally play any race, any sort of fantasy genre you like, because spelljamming gives you that ability to contact all those, to touch all those places. So anybody who's a real stick in the mud about, you know, what races they like or don't like in their game, that kind of gets thrown out the window for Spelljammer. So I think Spelljammer is really aptly timed. Maybe not for you guys with your campaign coming to an end and they're like, hey, Spelljammer. But I feel like the D&D community, this is a game that Spelljammer definitely grabs the fantastic, and, you know, anything, literally anything can exist in a Spelljammer campaign.
Yeah, and in a time of inclusivity, it's great to have the whole galaxy, the whole universe available to play. And I wanted to show off this Dungeon Master screen that Kate made using the old second edition
made
art.
for him.
Oh my goodness.
Hang on. I gotta make your screen big.
Yeah, let us zoom in on Chris' screen. So we have a Nautiloid there.
Yep.
That is so cool.
Is there a hammer ship?
Yes.
Oh, I love the hammer ship.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the retro images, which I found a scan of that was, I think, really roughed up. And I cleaned it up to remove all the impressions of the creases in the paper and stuff. And then,
oh my god!
Yeah, I got
made
two
him
of
a custom DM screen. It's awesome.
That
Final
is beautiful.
I'm gonna go on mute here because I gotta yell at my wife. I don't have a custom DM screen.
I do the painting and the crafty things. Like if Chris needs special markers or things painted in high detail, it's kind of I enjoy that stuff. So.
And you guys
mine out of cardboard, so.
You did make your first DM screen on cardboard. I think I've seen the picture. I've seen the picture. I have I'm going to shamelessly plug someone here. I think the company is called Hammer Dog that makes a DM screen where you can drop inserts in.
Oh, that's cool.
So like you can pick the art you want to drop on the one side and pick what you want inside.
I don't have a Candlekeep DM screen. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Hint. Nudge.
Make that happen.
I need to make metal pendants happen first. I've got to get back into CAD with that emblem for it. But yeah, that's
so
probably be playing for a while.
In chat, it looks like there's a couple people excited about Spelljammer as well, and steampunk. You can definitely do steampunk with Spelljammer.
Yeah,
it's very, very easy. Yeah. Well,
definitely go all Lovecraft with it. That'd be so fun.
Yes. Well, especially with the mind flares. And
oh yeah.
Like that would be really easy to do. That would be
Baby
really
agrees.
Easy. Baby does agree. Baby does agree. The Nautiloid ships even have a very sort of Cthulhu-y look.
Yeah, they do.
Well, they're mainly piloted by the mind flayers, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Lithids.
Well, this has been awesome, guys. Thanks for coming and
thank you.
and giving up some time to hang out with us here on Prep or Die.
Awesome.
We will be back in 2 weeks, maybe.
I don't know.
Because Affy's down in the States in 2 weeks. And I don't have any faith that she can stream from the States.
What?
I'll be in a hotel.
She's going to be in a hotel.
We have internet access, you know.
Do you? Are you sure?
She's going to be in a hotel. And then she was talking about streaming across like a cell phone. I'm like, you can't do it.
Yes.
It's got
It
no
won't be
faith in
high
me.
quality, but you can.
So, maybe we'll be back in 2 weeks. Maybe we won't be back in 2 weeks. Maybe it'll be 4 weeks.
Possible.
We don't know.
It depends. It depends on the internet when I check into my hotel.
We don't know. We just don't know. I don't think we have any real announcements to make.
Just Noob Crawl next Wednesday.
Yeah, New Crawl. We're playing Dungeon Crawl Classics next Wednesday on my channel. If anybody is in the Ohio area, I will be at Origins. I should maybe throw that out there. I'm going to be DMing at Origins for the Lynn Vander gaming group, and so I am headed down. So if you're going to be at Origins, make sure that you come and say hi. Columbus, Ohio is where I will be at. So, Ohio. So I'm very excited about that. I haven't DM'd at a convention in a very long time, so I'm looking forward to that.
Been a minute.
If you would like to be on Old Men Rolling Dice, I know this sounds old school, but email us at oldmenrollingdice@gmail.com and we will hook you up for a show. I'm looking at you, HamPod. You should probably be saying, hey, I want to be on the show.
Yeah, like, why do we not have an email from you already?
I don't know.
Shame.
And maybe Viking as well should be doing that.
This guy's having fun right here.
Oh, look at that.
Corgi.
That's the life.
What a bomb.
The corgi life right there.
I thought you had bigger dogs.
I do. They live with their daddy.
Oh, okay. I'm like, this is not the dog that I think I was expecting to see here.
This is the dog that lives in the apartment.
Okay, fair enough.
That's fair. That's fair.
Fair
Big
enough.
dogs
That
are
tracks.
too big for the apartment.
I
ponies.
understand. I understand. So catch us in 2 weeks, and
Maybe.
Stop saying maybe. Maybe I'll stream it in 2 weeks.
Okay, you do that. Have fun.
Anyway, we'll see you. Thanks again. To Nights of Roleplay. Thank you for being here with us.
Yes, thank you so
And
much.
if you have not, you can find Nights of Roleplay anywhere you download podcasts from. Check it out. Did we get a bye-bye?
You did get a bye-bye. She
Oh,
said
did get a
bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Wave, she'll do it most of the time.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh,
Can't top that. Take us out.
Nope,
Happy.
we're done.
Can't top that.
Ciao.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a review anywhere this podcast can be found. Our social media links, plus additional content, can be found on our website at knightsofroleplay.com. Please tell your friends about Knights of Roleplay and Adventuring Podcast, and spread the word through social media. Your help and support are greatly appreciated.